Hi everyone, Shashank Gupta, your mentor, your friend, and today we start with our very first thought process about verbal ability. Remember, this is for IPMAT, this is for all the entrances that we have coming across for you. So, the very first thing that we are going to start with vocabulary because vocabulary is the most important thing that we have in your papers, right? Vocabulary helps you to understand the questions, vocabulary helps you to find the answers by eliminating the options that you feel cannot be the answer for your options, right? Okay, coming back to it, how do I go across with vocabulary? Because vocabulary is quite huge, right? Like, look at these words. The first word is incontrovertible. Then we have got circumlocution, magnanimous, misconstrue, internecine. Then we have got obfuscation and disseminate, right? For many of us, the word is quite difficult. If the word is difficult, then how do I move about and do the question? So, thinking about this, we came across with a way in which my learning would be easy. More than that, the problem with learning is you need to retain as well. These kind of words, when you go across and you try to retain them, the biggest problem lies there because after some days, when you have not read it anymore, it would simply be off your mind. And in that case, when you look at it, when it is coming across in your paper, you would be you would actually be thinking, yes, I know this word, but then again, you are not getting the answer, right? So, how to solve that? Coming across with these words, generally what happens is if you don't know the word, you would actually try to Google it, try to use a dictionary or something. But in that case, you would just be learning one word. We don't want that. We have two major missions out here. The first mission is learning the word and retaining the word. And the second mission is learning, retaining, and learning more words out of it. How is that done? So let's move on to the next one and let's see how we can work it out. Look at these words again. If you look at it, this time you will see that the word incontrovertible can be broken into some parts where in stands for not. Okay? Let me just come back. Yeah, incontrovertible, in means not, okay, and contra means against. Yeah, you must have played that game contra. Yeah, so contra means against, vert means turn, and able means able to. Okay, so when you look at this thing, it becomes easier for you to remember that every time a word has a word, like the word has a part, contra or contro, it is going to talk about something going against. But in is saying not. Fine. So this whole thing is giving me a thought process that it is talking about something which cannot be turned against something, right? So if I cannot turn you against something, you are incontrovertible. Easy, right? Let's go to the next one. Circumlocution. Now, when I talk about circumlocution, what is the word we are getting out here? Circum, which is coming across from the word circumference, and circumference is basically for what? It is for a circle. And what is the shape of circle? It is round, right? Locu, which means to speak, right? And shun is an act of, or you can also learn anything that ends with tion is actually talking about the noun. Fine? Okay. So circumlocu, which means talking in round, talking in circles, right? What does it mean talking in circles? It actually means where you are going to talk in circles, you're not actually coming to the point, right? You are just you want to, no, you are trying to avoid the main thing about which it is being talked about. So you're just beating around the bush, okay? You're talking in circles, right? So that is why it is called as circumlocution, okay? Next, move on. What is the word? The word is magnanimous. Now, whenever I have this word magnum, yeah, magnum, the ice cream, right? So magnum, the ice cream is what? Something which is big, something which is grand, or something which is great. So magne, okay? It means great. Anim is a mind or spirit, okay? When I say animate the object, what am I doing? I'm giving it spirit, I'm giving it soul, right? I'm giving it a life. So it is always going to talk about something to do with mind, spirit, and all that stuff. Next, what do we have? We have got OUS. What is this OUS talking about? OUS is something which is full of, okay? So the whole thing is talking about something which is someone who has a great mind or someone who has a great spirit, right? Fine. So things are getting easier for me, right? I can actually remember, and I can actually remember all those words which would have the word magna or magn or magnum or magne, anything of that sort. I can actually come across with the thought process. Let's come across to the next one. What is the word? Misconstrue. What does it mean, misconstrue? So mis is something which is wrongly, wrong, okay? Con is together, like Congress, right? And strew comes across from the word structure. Yeah? What happens in a structure? We build a structure, right? So strew is basically when I build, okay? So something which has been what? Wrongly built, okay? So together we sat across and we built something which was wrong, or something which was to be built in a certain way, but we built it in a different way, which was wrong. So that is was, we can say, wrongly built, okay? Next word is internecine, which is, inter means between. Yes, you must have played so many inter college, inter state, inter class, and so on, right? Okay, so between. Next stands for something to kill, and ein is relating to. So ein also has a word, it has a meaning, it talks about how a thing can be associated, right? Fine. So next one, obfuscation. Obfuscation, ob stands for over. Next we have got fusk, which is dark, okay? There is actually a color called as fuchsia. So fuchsia is basically a dark shade color, right? So that's why it is talking about dark. And then Asian, that is the act of. As we said, and we did tion, which is act of. So we already know what is the meaning of this. Next, what we have is disseminate. Disseminate has 8, which means cause to. So we are causing something, okay? Generate. So we are causing to provide or build something, right? Next, semen, which means seed, okay? And dis is apart. So when I'm disseminating something, what am I doing? I'm scattering the things, right? Okay. So in this way, when you learn the keywords, it becomes easier for us to remember them. Fine. We'll see it in some time. Stay with me. Let's move on. Let's go to the next one. The next set of words that we have today is about inscrutable, recapitulate, exacerbate, anachronism, pernicious, disrepute, improvident, and equanimity. Okay? Let's see how we can break them. So when I talk in terms of inscrutable, in means not. We learned it in the very first thing when we did that word, starting with in, right? So in is not. Then we have got scrut, which means to examine. From where do we get this word? Scrutiny, right? If I say that something is under scrutiny, which means someone is examining, right? Someone is investigating about something. So it is under scrutiny. We are not very, we are very, sus about it. we are very, we are suspectful. We are doubtful about it. And that's why it is under scrutiny. So scrut is examine and able is able to. Easy. Next, recapitulate. Re is again, though re also has another meaning, which would be back. But in this case, re would be talking about again. Capit is head, elate because it has got ate, which means to make. So in my head, I'm doing it again and again, so it means something we are recapitulating, okay? Next word, exacerbate. X is out. So when it's going out, it means what? It is blown, right? It is extreme. It is going out more than the proportion, right? Out of proportion it is. What do we have? Acerb. Acerb stands for bitter, harsh, right? Then we have got 8, okay? 8 is again to make, that we did in recapitulate, right? Anachronism, ana, right? So ana means what? Against. Fine, we are going against something. Against what? The time. So what is it? Chron. What does chron stand for? It talks about time, right? And then ism. Ism is the state or the idea. Fine. So whenever we talk about terrorism, when we talk about racism, any kind of ism, stoicism, it is actually talking about some idea, some theory out there, right? Pernicious, per, which means through. Then it talks about nick, which we did. This is death or harm. And then we have got eus, which is full of, because that is ous, okay? So through harm, so something which is harmful, right? I can easily make it out, right? Next, what we have is disrepute. So what is disrepute? Dis is something which is bad, okay? Then there is repute, which is reputation, coming across from reputation, which is actually like it was easy to catch hold of this word, right? Next one is improvident. What is improvident? Improvident, I am, which means not. Then we have got pro, which is talking about forward, yeah, like progress you have heard, okay? Then we have got vid, which is see, and ent, one who is. ENT also stands for many a thing, but one of which I'm using out here is a person, right? So a person who is improvident is basically someone who does not look into the future, right? He's just, okay, let's do this. So he's very impulsive, he's very reckless, he just goes about and do something out there, right? So this is not easy to understand, like this can easily be catch hold of. Next, equanimity. So we have got equi, which means, yeah, equa, which is equal, yeah, easy. Anim, we already know, which is mind and spirit, and iti is the state of. So ity, ism, they all talk about some kind of state or idea or something like that, right? Easy as that. Having all these roots in your mind. So before even we start with what is, how to use them and how to go about with this, I would ask you to keep a register with you, not one but two registers with you. The first register is going to be the one where you are going to talk about the vocabulary, the idioms, the phrasal, everything, right? And the second register is the one where you are going to keep on with all the grammar section, right? So you're going to work on your grammar and all kind of questions that would come across. In this way, you would actually be sorted and you know which one to read today, which one to practice today, and then accordingly, right? So we'll have a very holistic approach towards our success. It is very important that we know how we have to go about, how to study, and in which way we can catch hold of our dream college, right? Let's move ahead. Keeping that in mind, I'm coming across with our first pattern of the day, which is synonyms, right? Now, when I talk in terms of synonyms, what does it say? Choose the word that is the closest in the meaning of the given word. Remember, it is not necessary that they would use the word synonym. So they can use words like closest, they can use words like nearest. So you need to know that this is the kind of word you have to remember. Let's move ahead. Come across with the first one. What is the word? Incontrovertible. Do you remember what it meant? It meant in, which was not, contro, which was against, vert, which meant turn, and able was able to. Yeah? Remember that? Okay. So keeping that in mind, what are we talking about? What kind of person is this, or what kind of quality is this? It is a quality where a person cannot be turned against something, right? Which means he would always be in support of something. He will never debate against it. So, can it be debatable? Definitely not. If a person is not turning against anything, which means is he temporary or is he fixed? So he's fixed. Therefore, temporary is not going to work for us. Now we are left with absolute and confusing. And I know that it becomes easier for us to eliminate out here that confusing can never be my answer out here, because if the person is confused, then the person will never have this kind of thought process that he cannot turn against, right? He can be confused easily, he can be manipulated easily, he can be influenced easily because he's confused, right? Therefore, what is my better option? The better option out here is going to be absolute. Easy. So as you can see, we learned two things out here. I did not know the word before, but I could break it. I remembered the roots, and by using those roots, I could actually come across with the better answer. The second thing that I learned out here was I would never go across and try to find the answer directly. Always there is going to be one thing that is going to work for me, and that is eliminating the options. When you eliminate the options, it becomes easier for you to catch hold of all the words and do your question easily, right? Because out here, when I was able to remove the three options, it became quite easy for me to get the right answer. And this way, your accuracy will grow like anything. Let's go to the next question. Oh, as you can see, the answer is absolute. Fine. Let's move ahead to the next question. What is the word? Magnanimous. So when we come across with magnanimous, what happens out there? Out here we had magna and we had anim. Do you remember? Right? Magna was something to do with great. Anim was something to do with spirit or mind. And OUS was something to do with the something full of, right? If you don't remember full of, you can actually remember quality. So it is actually telling us the quality of a person who has a great mind or spirit, which means magnanimous is a kind of positive word. Yeah, I can also tone the word for myself. If it is a positive word, it can definitely not be selfish, right? Okay. Can it be cowardly? No, of course not, because cowardly is a negative word again, and therefore it also goes away. Talkative is what? Talkative is a person who is like talks a lot, right? Nothing to do with great mind, spirit, or something like that. It does not associate with it. More than that, talkative is a bit negative word. When I call someone talkative, I'm not very happy with them. So that means talkative goes away. Which is the positive word we have? The only word that we have is generous, and that is your answer. See, the questions actually become easy for us when we go about and do these kind of questions, right? When we start working, not just learning them, but applying the concept, right? Let's move on to the next one. Oh, yeah, the answer is generous. Let's move on to the next word. The word is disseminate. Do you remember? Dis was apart. Semi or semin was what? It was something to do with seed. Yeah. And ATE was to make. Keeping that in mind, what do we have? Are we concealing it? No, we cannot conceal it because we are talking about apart. Apart is like, yeah, we are breaking it apart, which means apart cannot, like conceal cannot be my answer. So I have to remove conceal. Let's move on to the next one. What is it? Discard. Now, many students out here, they actually go across with this part, like this is this, this is this, answer is B. But it's not going to work for you guys. You need to see, when I say discard, is means I'm throwing it away. Does disseminate, does this talk about that I'm throwing it apart? Okay, no, it is not. Fine. I'm just joined the letters because you might think that I'm talking about a part. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about apart as a single word, which means divide. Okay, right. So discard cannot work out here because it means something to do throw away. So will not work. Spread. When I spread, what do? I pull it apart, right? So I'm spreading it. I can use this. So I have to wait for something. And if I go to the D part, then my answer becomes, my accuracy becomes higher. Why? Because if you come across out here, in the D part, it says protect. Now, when I'm pulling the seed apart, when I make the seed apart, how am I protecting it? Rather, spreading it can be a better option. And therefore, protect goes away. The answer is C, which is spread. So, as it is, you can easily go about and learn as many words as you want when you start breaking these kind of words and learn the roots. Okay, let's move on. Let's go across to the next one. Fine. So what is the one we have now? The word is inscrutable. When I look at inscrutable, what was it? In was not. Scrut was scrutiny, remember? Examine. And able was something able to, right? So we don't have to write that. Something that cannot be examined can be inscrutable. Easy as that. The first one says mysterious. When it is mysterious, when would you call something as mysterious? So mysterious is when I cannot actually what? Evaluate it, analyze it, right? So can I remove this? I cannot. I have to wait. Let's go to the next one. What is written? Simple. So if it is simple, can it be examined or not? Of course it can be. It can easily be evaluated. It can easily be analyzed, and therefore simple cannot be answer. When something is loud, it is clear. You can easily see it, right? So loud also goes away. So there are two louds actually. The first loud is when someone is shouting, okay, and he's shouting aloud. So that is one loud. The other is his behavior may be loud. His dressing sense can be loud. So that even that is a loud, okay. But definitely nothing to do with inscrutable. What about transparent? If it is transparent, I can actually look through it, right? Which means I can actually analyze it, evaluate it. Therefore, this also goes away. The only thing that cannot be analyzed is mysterious, and my answer is A. Easy. So you can see by doing these kind of practices, by doing this kind of an activity in your mind, you are gaining the confidence, you are gaining the concept that can help you go through, right? Rather get through. The answer is mysterious. Let's move on. The word is exacerbate. Okay? Exacerbate, how can we break it? X meant out. Yeah. Acer meant something to do with bitter. Yeah. And ATE was to make. Fine. Okay. So out, so something which is bitter, and how much is it? Is it just bitter or is it going beyond bitter? So it is extreme of bitter, right? So I need what? I need something which is very negative, right? So we have got improve. Improve is a positive word. So definitely this cannot be my answer. A goes away. Next, what do we have? We have got worsen. So worsen something. It's a verb, en. and this is saying that we are making something which is bad and we are making it worse, right? So this is actually going out, so I can keep this. Repair is again a positive word, balance is again a positive word, simple as that, this goes away. So by the time you are done with me, by the time you are done with these classes, you would be doing these questions in 5 seconds, I guarantee you, right? But the only thing that is important out here is you have to take out this time. You have to understand the importance of this class. You have to understand the importance of uh, the labor that iQuanta is putting in to get you through to your dream college, right? So what is the right answer? The answer is worsen. Easy as that. So these 5 questions were based on your synonyms. Let's move ahead. Let's do questions which would be based on some other type. Let's see what is the next type we have. As you see, exacerbate, the answer is worsen, right? So we are talking about pattern B now. What is this pattern B about? This is about antonyms. Antonyms means what? Choose the word that is opposite. Now, instead of opposite, what is the other word they can say? They can also say the farthest in meaning, okay? In meaning to the given word. Fine. Let's move ahead. What was the word given across? Obfuscation. Ob was over. First was dark. Over dark, something talking about dark out here, okay? Let's move on. Now, this question is quite good. Look at it carefully. This is called as clarification, okay? Clarification means to look at the light, right? You can see the light, right? Clarification talks about something which is clear. Clarity is there. So definitely clarification cannot be my answer, because it cannot be something where we are in darkness. What is the word? What is the phrase? The expression I used, in darkness. Someone being in darkness. He was kept in dark. We say that. So when we keep someone in dark, what are we doing out there? Are we talking about darkness as in real darkness? So he was kept in a room where there was no light. Are we talking about that? Or a better option, which is confusion. So we are creating confusion out there. So what is the better answer? The answer is confusion, right? Of course, obsession does not talk about what? Over dark, right? Nothing to do with darkness out here. So that's why obsession goes away. We were left with B and C. Now, this is a pure case of whatever you go across with. Whenever you sit across for your entrances, you would find that generally there would be 2 options left, and out of those 2 options, you have to find the right answer. So out here, we actually faced 2 options that could have been an answer, but darkness is too specific, and therefore I have to go across with a general term. So the generic term out here would be confusion, right? So this is another concept that you have to learn, that many a time you cannot be specific, and then again there would be times when you have to come across and find out the specific answer as well, right? Okay, let's move on. What is the next word we have? Oops. Yes, this is something we need to work upon. What is it? Now look at it carefully. We had darkness, we had confusion, but what is the answer we were looking out for? Go back to the question. See what happened out here. The question was about antonyms, and just like any student, I made this mistake. I went across and I came across with this word. I saw obfuscation, I saw confusion, I saw the synonym, and I fell for the trap. I don't want you to people to fall for such kind of a trap. You need to remember that you are talking about antonyms, right? So when you are talking about antonyms, how do I go about? I need to come across with something which is opposite to this. So darkness was a specific word, confusion was the synonym. I need an antonym. Clarification says that yes, exactly, it is just the opposite. I'm not keeping the person in dark. The person is actually seeing how it is, and the reality thing. So therefore, the answer has to be A, clarification. See? So if you are impulsive, if you are just trying to find the answer, it would be a big, big problem. And this problem, this error may cost you a strong college, a brand where you want it to be. Fine. So be aware. Let's move on. So next question is internecine. So inter was between and neck was kill. Fine. Keeping this in mind, what do I go about with? Something which is killing, something like that. So it cannot be mutual, it cannot be peaceful, right? Or what am I doing? Am I going wrong? Yes. I need to find, remember in your mind, what is it? You need to find antonym. How do I go about with this then? So the ones that I feel are not the answers, we need to remove that. Which one? I cannot remove mutual or peaceful. Which one would I go across with then? In this case, deadly, which is a clear synonym of the word, cannot be my answer. Yeah? Easy as that. Now we are left with mutual and peaceful, which can actually be the opposite of internecine. And there this word historical, but between kill is not talking about anything to do with history. And therefore, D part goes away. What are we left with? B and C, which is mutual and peaceful. How do I go about with this? So when I talk about mutual and peaceful, the thing is peaceful or mutual. Which one do I go? Now, the word is talking about something deadly. When I say mutual, it means we are in agreement, right? Agreement of what? Agreement of positive things or negative things. So it can be anything, right? We might, like there can be A and B who are mutually against each other, right? They are mutual that they hate each other, right? Which means mutual cannot be my answer. The better option out here would be peaceful. Why? Because just the opposite of killing, just the opposite of violence is peace, right? So this one makes sense and we will go for peaceful. Good enough? Let's see. And the answer is peaceful. So this time we did not fall for the trap. I hope you understood what is what. Fine. So I'll give you real time experience of how students would make mistakes, which you cannot. You have to read the questions, okay? You need to know that this is the question asking for, and as per that you have to give the answer, right? Let's move ahead. The next word is misconstrue. What was that? Mis was something to do with what? Wrongly. Yeah. Con was together. And strew was structure, right? Something to build. Okay. Keeping that in mind, let's see. Misinterpret. Should I keep it or remove it? Remember what we have to do? We have to go for the opposite, right? Misinterpret is actually the synonym of the word misconstrue, right? Why? Because when I wrongly build something, what are people going to look at it? They are going to misinterpret that. So which means this is definitely not my answer. Misinterpret and confuse, if you look at them, they are almost synonymous, and therefore A and B definitely goes away. The other word is understand and overstate. So when I overstate, which means like I'm saying extra. If I'm saying extra, again, is it not misconstruing the thing? Yes, of course, because I'm just building something extra, which is overstating, and therefore this also not works. The answer is C, which is understand. Easy. Let's move ahead. And the answer is understand. Yippee, we did the right thing. Let's go to the next question. What is it? Improvident. Okay. Improvident. What was it? Im meant not. Remember? Okay. Provi. What was it? Provi. Can you remember? No? Just think of it. You have to be very, very, you need to remember these things. If you don't remember these things, then will not work, right? See, it actually, many people out here would actually catch hold of provide, right? But no, The thought process is pro. So the breakage was I am, im, then there was pro, then there was vid. Yeah? Not pro was forward and vid was see or look. Remember? So a person who does not have a what? A vision, right? A person who does not think of the future would be called as improvident. So if the person is improvident, what would it be? Which are the ones I would remove out here? The very first would be extravagant, right? Extravagant, why? Because a person who is extravagant, he's actually improvident, right? Because he's not thinking of the future. He's simply, expending himself. He's simply spending money. He's simply doing everything impulsively, right? He's living the moment, but he's not thinking of the future. So definitely extravagant is a synonym. It cannot be the what? It cannot be the antonym. Just like that, another word is reckless. Reckless is again impulsive, a person who just goes about, does things, which means he's improvident. So this part also goes away. The next part that we have left out here is proud and thrifty. I don't know what exactly thrifty stands for, but definitely I know what is proud. So what is proud? Does it have any relation with improvident? No. A, a person who is proud does not have a vision or anything of that sort. We cannot associate it with vision, right? So therefore, proud goes away. The only thing that is left is thrifty. What did we learn out here? We learned that there might be times that you would not find the right word out there. Maybe you don't know what is the meaning of it. But then again, if you eliminate the options, then you see the chances of getting the right answer or the better option always increases. Fine. So remember these words, okay? Let's see. And the answer is thrifty. Perfect. Come across with the last question for the day. The word is pernicious. Now, what was pernicious? I don't even remember per, maybe I don't even remember OUS. But I remember Nick. What was that? What was that? Nick was something to do with deadly, harmful, yeah, harming, something like that, right? Otherwise, per meant what? Through, right? But forget about it. My main keyword out here, I could actually gather that, right? So if I go across with this, so I'm looking out for a negative word. So pernicious is a negative word. All I have to do is I have to find a positive word to find the antonym of this. Easy. So I come back, what do I find? I see that toxic is a negative word, right? Toxic. We say this like the relation has gone toxic, yeah? So not the answer. Sinister, right? Sinister has the word sin. So something evil is happening out there. So again, not happening. Fine. Destructive. So we are what? Structure, destruct, which means we are again damaging something. Again, a negative word. I cannot have that. The only option that is left is benign. Yeah. So if you even remember, Ben, the word is Ben, Bene, Benny, Ben. Any point of these words which come across to you, it would always mean something to do with, benefit, beneficiary, beneficent, benevolent. All these words are positive, right? So benign is a positive word. It is the only option which is positive in the whole words. So I can easily find out, I can easily eliminate the options and get my answer that is benign. Let's see, are we right or wrong? And the right answer is benign. So, dear all, I hope you have understood the first words. I did 15 words with you, and I gave you all these questions, the synonyms and the antonyms. I would come across with more words tomorrow. I would come across with more questions tomorrow. And then we are going to see how we stand. I hope my labor is going to work for you. I hope you would come across and carry on with this lesson so that you can actually grow in your verbal section. fine. I'm telling you again, verbal section is a great friend if you use the proper way, proper methodology, proper concept of learning. So until next time, take care from iQuanta team. Thank you.